How's it going, guys? Alpo here today. Today I'm going to be making a series of teaching you guys how to code in C++. Maybe later on I'll teach you how to think like a programmer, especially on empty projects, and later on give you tips of modifying it to a specific way of what you want. So first of all, I'm going to be using Versio Studios Community 2019. I used Versio Studios installer for it, and I'm going to be hitting launch to launch the system, basically say, hey, it's time to wake up and it's time to actually work. I will be leaving a link down below for Virtual Studio's installer. Basically all it is, it's basically an IDE. So what I'm going to be doing is actually creating a new project. I'm going to go ahead and make a new project. Go ahead, go to the create a new project. Okay, now that it is loaded up for what we're going to do, but as you can see right here, you can see customizations. If I clear all, you can see the customizations of what kind of template I want to use, what kind of file that I want to. I could just completely do it from complete scratch over here, and then console app. Console app is just basically printing hello world. It's just the basic minimums of a program, and an empty project is basically a project without files, so you can make your own up if you do not know what type of files you want to do. And over here, it's recent project templates. When you choose one right here, it will automatically put it right there, just for you to get as a reference. Let's say you want to reprogram it to be a lot more better, or you are going to need another one, or you just need it for a different project. So it's quite useful in that regards. But as you can see here, there is a lot of options. And yes, there are some options that do need to be downloaded if you haven't downloaded it. And that's the great thing about Verso Studios Installer, is you don't have to, you can automatically get it right away. If you want to, for example, use Calcos, uh, Calcos engine for building multi-platforming games, you could just install it right there, and it will pre-come with it, and then you could actually choose the template from Concos. And that's with pretty much everything. Our project name, I'm just going to call Hello World. And for our source, I am going to put it on my desktop. You can put it pretty much anywhere, and I'm going to put it on my desktop, man, because I could just see it and delete it if I want to. And then we just press create. Now what is it actually doing is actually configuring all those files and all those debugging stuff, basically all the debugging files into a certain file, to a directory, and organizing the entire project so it can be working correctly. Right here is a console app file. Basically it has, of course, comments, and it has the print statement hello world, and it has comments of telling you how to do this if this is your first time programming into Versio Studios. I'm not going to get over it, what are comments and how to make multi-line comments or anything like that. I'm just going to be talking about things that you probably should know about Versio Studios. In file, you add a new file, project, repository. You could get a project you could get code from existing projects. You could open another project. You could clone the repository. You could start a window. You could do a lot of stuff. You could save your code. You could print it if you want to. I don't really know people or even companies that even print their own code. That was a really long time ago, but I'm sure to God they never do it. But you still got that option. You got bookmarks, all this stuff. You got clone. Git basically is what Git is it's basically a community based for coding. So you could create a Git repository just in case if you made a project that you like to show off. Um, you could add a module, add class, get class wizards and stuff like that. Um, Debugging, you could choose your debug solution. Well, build, you know, and then you got your debug, and then you got your test, and then tools. and pretty much, basic stuff that you probably would see in an IDE. And right here, you could actually just change your file name just in case if you want to put it as main .cpp. For a lot of programmers, it is really they'll like it like that more often because they could actually customize their file into a specific project. Right here is an undo button. Right here is the redo. Of course, you should pretty much know the undo button is Control Z and the redo is Control Y. And you basically have all these tools. Right here is your debugger. You could change it to a specific debug. You could change it to specific settings for it. Change it to what do you want to debug specifically. And right here is our project name. Right here is the global scope. And this is for pretty much every function. All you really have to know is main is a function. And right here's our, basically our, what it will find any errors over there, right here. It's our output system. It's not technically our terminal, but it helps us out if we do have errors. And then if we press run and debug the program, we will get a console application up, and you can think of it as a terminal, and when it runs it will prompt out hello world into the console, and then pretty much in the console, because there's no more code to actually put into it. And then right here it would say pretty much everything that would happen when you executed. Of course, the system load, and then it just found what type of debugger we're using, and it actually executed the code. But let's say we have a missing semicolon. Right here we'll get an error, and then this is it's a warning essentially. So an error, we could go over here and press this icon and look right here, expected a semicolon, and then we could just go ahead and fix it. You could go over here for additional information, but I pretty much know what the problem is. Let's say we have a missing C, and then it'll say right here, line 8, since this is 8, a namespace std has no member out. And then we'd be like, oh yeah, we actually do have an error right here. And also you have red squiggly lines underneath it to tell you basically, hey, you have an error. So pretty much that's really it of First Geo Studios Community Edition 2019. Hope you guys learned something from this video.